Right, so the first thing that I'm going to try to do is to make sure that everybody knows that they can use PowerShell. Now, PowerShell is probably part of your Windows 10 installation now. And you can go to the Start menu and you can look at it there, but it's highly likely that you will want to use PowerShell in its administrator mode, which means if you are working on a Windows machine, you can use the Windows key, the one with the Windows icon on it, you know, the four rectangles. Click on that and X, and you will then see the secondary menu come up, and you can choose PowerShell Admin. And you then get asked whether or not you want to allow PowerShell Admin to make changes to your device. There we are. You can say yes, and you can now see that the PowerShell window comes up, and this is very like the CMD, if you like, the command window, the command line interface. The only difference that you can see, obviously, apart from the fact this has PowerShell written on it, is that PowerShell usually appears with a blue background, whereas the command window usually appears with a black background. But the same sorts of things are going to happen if you're using this. Now, having done that, I'm going to pause this for a moment so that I can then move to installing Chocolatey. So I have got Google Chrome open, and when I open Google Chrome, I've gone to the chocolatey.org installations screen, and you can see that there is a command which I should be using here. Here it is. It says run the following command, which is this command here, and I can either highlight that and then copy it, or I can click on copy, or I can click on copy command text. I'm going to do that, and never mind about the fact that there is some weird spelling that comes up here. Then if you go back to PowerShell, you can try to paste it in at that point. There it is. You can see it's being pasted in, and once you've pasted it in, you should be able to press enter, and the system should then start actually running. However, oh, there we are. Okay, so this is what happens now when you're working in PowerShell. It's automatically going to the Chocolatey platform and downloading the Chocolatey files, which will then be installed, and you can see it now says it's installing Chocolatey on this machine. Now this may take more than the 15 minutes that I have allowed on Screencast-O-Matic, but it is working on this at the moment. What I'm going to do is to just pause for a moment, and you can see that there is a little bit more text coming in here now. It's going to start putting Chocolatey into the program data folder in the C drive. Here we are. You can see this happening in real time now. And probably I'm going to be asked to verify, to confirm that I do actually want this installation to go ahead in a minute. If I put a hyphen lowercase y into my PowerShell instruction, then probably it would have done it automatically. Perhaps that's what's being done in this one. But sometimes I get given an opportunity to actually take control by actually writing something in there. Okay, so I should now be able to call Chocolatey, and I should be able to get Chocolatey to install my own copy of Haskell. However, we'll see what's on the Haskell website, and I'm going to pause this recording again while I go and open up the Haskell website. Right, now in order to find the commands for downloading and installing Haskell, I need to go to the haskell.org website, and here we are. I've gone to it now. I'll actually just go back a little bit and you can see how I just navigated through this. So this is the haskell.org website. I clicked on downloads, and I'm going to try to install the whole Haskell platform. I could just go for GHC, but I think that might make it just a little bit more difficult to actually run. If I try the whole Haskell platform, it might give me GHCI, which is the Glasgow Haskell compiler, and I'm hoping it will give me Win GHCI as well, which is the Windows Haskell compiler. Not very different, in fact, in terms of what you do with them, but it always used to be slightly more accessible for people who were just used to using Windows and the usual Windows GUI commands, dragging and dropping and all those other things. Right, so I'm going to click on Haskell platform, and of course I'm going to use the Windows offering, the Windows platform. So I'm going to click there, and at that point, here we are. This brings me back, I think, to where we were before. Here we are. It says you've got to use Chocolatey. Well, we know we've got Chocolatey installed now. Configure Chocolatey, done all of that. If upgrading from the old platform installer, it says you have to clean this up first of all. Now I think I've actually got rid of everything that was there before, so I'm not going to go for that option yet. I might need to go back to it, but I'm going to see if I can go straight ahead. So I'm going to need to actually click on that inside Chocolatey. So I'm going to go to what's called the elevated command prompt. Now, an elevated command prompt means essentially that you are using an administrator set of permissions on your command prompt, and that should work with PowerShell as well. If I'm going to try and do this in PowerShell, if it doesn't work in PowerShell, I'll have to try to do it just in cmd.exe, the command window. But I'll try to do it in PowerShell first of all. So I'll copy that. I'll see if I can open PowerShell, and I'll see, there we are, if I can just write that in. Seems to have gone in straight away. And there we are, it's actually starting up. Chocolatey is installing, and it's trying to install. There we are. You can see it's trying to install haskell.dev. I guess that stands for the developer platform or something like that. And yes, it's now installing 8.10.1 GHC, Cabal, Haskell dev, whatever MSys2 is. So the reason I've taken the time to video all of this is that I hope you will be able to do the same thing on your own Windows platform. It's a bit more demanding than the usual just download and click and install, but it seems to be a much more comprehensive way of installing packages, and it does get us used to using the command line, in this case the PowerShell window, which is something that any computer science enthusiast really ought to have at least some glimmering of an understanding of this sort of way of working. I'm just going to leave that running for a minute. I can see I've got just over 5 minutes left. here we are. Now you can now see that Chocolatey is asking me to confirm that everything that I want to do. So I'm just going to press a capital Y. There we are. And it'll take me on to the next stage. It's asking me, did I want to run the script? I said yes. I'm going to have to do it probably each time there's a request for this. Now I'm going to pause my recording at the moment, but I'll bring it back when a little bit more has happened. So this is pretty much where I was before. You can see a bit more has happened now. I'm going to scroll down a bit. Here we are. Here's another confirmation. I'm going to say A this time. Yes to all. So is something else going to happen now? Yeah. More stuff being downloaded. Going to take a bit of time, so I'm going to pause this and come back shortly. Well, we can see that the download has completed. The install program is extracted. The tools are also being extracted. This is the library, presumably, that the compiler will need to make use of. And obviously there's still a bit more happening, so with only 3 more minutes to go, I'm going to pause again. Right, now I'm being asked to possibly close and reopen the shell, so I'm going to do that. And nothing else is happening. Well, you can see it looks as though I've got a Haskell file installed now, and I'm actually asking for the help files at the moment. So it looks as though something has happened, something has been installed. At this point, I'm actually going to close this recording, and when I want to try to open it all up again, I shall start a brand new recording. Seems to be partially successful, at least up to this point. So we'll close now and come back with another recording later. Bye for now.